When 4 legs much better than 2? Well, strange question, right? But you'll be surprised by the answer and how it is related to Xenna. Okay, so what do you know about Ares? Well, God of War before Kratos? Okay, any other suggestions? I mean, if Xenna becomes the world's hit, maybe Ares will be associated with their new robot, Xenna Heavy Robot, or simply XHR. Yeah, that's how it transcribes. So it's good to know Ares better, as this robot has huge potential. And so it is good to know this Ares robot better, as this one has some hidden potential. And by the way, we also have a detailed guide about XMR Atom, so give it your sweet view. So, as you can guess, Xenna Heavy Robot, or shortly XHR, is slower, but has increased durability and attack damage to become the anchor for your entire army. So yeah, a true juggernaut takes longer to build, but just can't be ignored on the battlefield. Well, after all, that's what the officials say. I'd say it is a badass. So here are XHR basic characteristics before you get your crooked hands on it. So you may pause here and take a good look. When just unlocked, the robot starts at level 1, regardless of the level of other robots. So unfortunately, you just need to go through leveling once again. The core idea of XHR is to have a solid late game advantage. I mean, yeah, it is pretty slow at the start, it has a low spawn rate, but in the late stages, Ares is just monstrous. Remember the good-natured secondary characters from action movies who die heroically in the middle of the movie, destroying themselves, but also a bunch of enemies. Well, with Ares, self-destruction becomes art. The developers brought 4 unique skills for our metal crab, and I wanna say, they are pretty good. Warp interference. It allows your troops to fight off ambush attacks. It comes in 3 rarities: rare, epic, and legendary, of course. At the epic level, you can see the ambush radius, while at legendary, also the number of troops inside. Upgrades also give you a higher damage when reflecting the attack. War trophies are awesome, as every March victory generates robots in towers. Also has 3 rarities: rare, epic, and legendary. So rare replenish robots in 1 closest tower, epic in 3, but with legendary in all your towers with a 10% chance, or guaranteed in 5 towers. So if you upgrade this ability, you will get more robots when winning on the march. Revenge, and now we get to it. Ares explodes on the march after death, dealing massive damage to nearby enemies. Also has 3 levels of rarity: rare, epic, and legendary. If you own a rare version of the ability, the explosion will have a range of 3. If epic, 5. But with legendary, 8. Plus, there is a 30% chance to deal x3 damage. So, upgrade Revenge to deal higher explosion damage. Energy Shield gives your robots invulnerability. Comes also in 2 rarities, epic and legendary. At legendary level, every 30 seconds, the first robot squad that leaves the tower 100% receives an energy shield. Upgrading this skill increases the trigger chance. Well, for my taste, Warp Interference is the least relevant skill, while the other 3 are top-notch. Well, judge yourself. War Trophies allows you to compensate for the low spawn speed of robots. So all you need is to win on the march, and this is enough to increase the population of crabs. Given the higher attack of XHR, there will be no problems. Yeah, Revenge is so satisfying, especially if you maxed out your power scale. Even if you don't kill the enemy in a head-to-head battle, you can get him from the other world. And yeah, the damage of this ability is pretty solid. And finally, Energy Shield. Well, invulnerability sounds too good to be true, but it is. Getting a legendary card will be difficult, but quite realistic. And then you will have a 100% shield, the most popular ability that counters XMR's hack. Okay, since we're talking about abilities, let's also think about the best combinations here. So, how do you like War Trophies in Revenge? Well, tough couple, but if you win the battle, you get new robots, and if you lose, you undermine the remnants of the enemy squad and deprive him of the advantage. Given the natural durability of XHR, I would also pay attention to a couple of basic skills: mobile and silent facility. An additional generation of robots is the best way to play for Ares. Or, given Ares' slowness, the speed module will be a great choice. I'd also suggest to that an energy shield or war trophies, because mobility never hurt anyone. Speaking of ability, what about robot leveling? If you're expecting me to discover America for you, well, it's time to exhale, because Ares is very obvious in terms of leveling. If you have an upgraded speed module, you can mostly ignore speed, but at least a few talents I would distribute. Spawn is the main weakness of Ares. By default, the growth of robots in towers is quite slow, so it will be good to prioritize it. Besides, do you remember that you need to collect all rewards and plan the transition to the next level of rarity in advance? If you don't know how to do that, check out this guide. And the last point, leadership, which is quite important actually. However, about 15 robots at the start should be quite enough not to get eliminated instantly and start a systematic capture of towers. So I think leveling of XHR is pretty similar to XMR, but XLR is very different from others. And by the way, the next guide is just about it. Xenna Light Robot, aka Goth. Watched up to this point? Well, my respect. Then catch some more useful tips straight from the heat of the battle. Take advantage of your firepower, especially if you use war trophies in revenge. Build routes to collide with an opponent as often as possible. Well, if your opponent is XLR, you'll have little chance. You are slow, which means you are vulnerable. And don't push to throw all your robots to capture the tower. First, evaluate whether any of the spores is moving towards your towers. If yes, go out and intercept. Keep units in warp ambushes. Due to Ares' high damage output, you'll have an advantage even against units that far outnumber your robots. And yeah, trust no one. Xenna is all about full demolition, so be fast, focused, and good luck. Only one question remains unanswered. When 4 legs much better than 2? Well, I guess you already know it. When you are Ares facing Adam on the march, well, poor guy stands no chance against your firepower. XHR is quite an imbalance, gotta admit that. That's why you should try it out, especially in the modes with a generation limit. As always, thank you for watching till the very end, and see you soon.